Okay guys, so we're going to try something different for the rest of this chapter where I record the video and you watch it at home and then we do the work together in class. We talked before that chapter 2 is all about percentages, and another place that we see percentages, we've looked at percent of increase and decrease, tax, and now tips. So you guys know that it's often customary to tip for certain services. You might tip when you get your hair cut, or a taxi driver, or an Uber driver nowadays, a restaurant, dog groomers. There's a lot of different instances where you might tip. And a tip is an additional amount of money paid in return for a service. This amount is sometimes a percent of the service cost, and the total amount paid is the cost of the service plus the tip. So we'll look at a few examples. The first one is at a restaurant. So the bill for a group of 8 people at a restaurant was $125 before the tip was added. The group wants to add an 18% tip. What will be the total bill including the tip? So similar to what we did with tax, we are going to take the total cost of that bill, which is $125, and you're just going to multiply it by the tip. But remember that anytime you have a percent, we don't want to leave this as a percent. We want to change this percent to a decimal. So we'll take that percent symbol and move it 2 places to the left. And so 18% is 0.18 as a decimal. So when I multiply the total cost of the bill, I'm going to multiply it by 0.18. And when we do that, we get, and like I said, you guys can use your calculators for this, we get that the tip is $22.50. So this is the amount of the tip. But we want the total bill including the tip. So now we're going to have to take the cost of the bill and add that tip to it. And this part you don't really need a calculator for, but this is 50 cents, 741. So the total for that bill with the tip would be $147.50. So similar to tax, where we just multiply the total cost of the item by the percent of the tax and then add it, it's really the same process when we're adding a tip to an item. So our next example, we're going to do the same thing. A customer wants to tip 15% on a restaurant bill that is $37.50. What will be the total bill with the tip? So we are going to take the cost of that bill and we're going to multiply it by 15%. But again, not 15%, not just 15, but we have to change this percent to a decimal. So 15% as a decimal, if we move that percent sign 2 places left, is 0.15. So $37.50 times 15% gives, is $5. And then we get 0.625 there, 5.625. So for our tip amount, 5.625, if we want to round this to the nearest cent, well, the nearest cent would be to the hundredths place, and if we look after the hundredths place, this is a 5. So my tip amount should be $5.63. So now I'm going to take $37.50 and add that to the 5, or add the 563 to that. And so our total cost is going to be $43.13. So again, just 2 simple steps. Multiply the cost by the percentage after you've changed the percent to a decimal, and then whatever the tip amount is, we're going to add that to the bill itself. So now you try it. Pause the video, and you guys do the check problem at the top of page 84. So do this now because I'll be checking your notes tomorrow in class, and I'll be checking to see what you get for this problem. And just to make sure that you're watching, on page 84, next to this problem, I want you to draw a big smiley face, because I'm going to be checking for that smiley face tomorrow when I check in the notes as well. So now that you've paused the video and come back, did you get $57.60 for the total bill? Because that is what you should have gotten once you've gone through this problem. If you have a question on it, we will go over it in class. The next thing you need to know in this section is markup. So this is not at all related to tax or tips, but just another example of where you might use percentages. And markup is basically a store. They pay for an item, they purchase an item at a wholesale cost, and then they increase it. That price that they increase it to is called, or that the amount of increase, I should say, is called the markup. And then the selling price is what the customer pays. So if you go into a store, you know that, like if you buy I don't know, what do you guys buy? Clothes. If you buy a shirt, and you're going to pay $20 for the shirt. Well, the store didn't pay $20 for the shirt. They paid a price, and then they marked it up a certain amount, and then they're selling it to you. So the selling price is the wholesale cost plus the markup. So the problems that we're going to look at involve finding the selling price, as well as some percent of markup problems and things like that. So the wholesale cost for each shirt at a clothing store is $17. The store manager plans to mark up the shirts by 125%. What will be the selling price for each shirt? Now the nice thing is that the way you do this is exactly the same way we have done tax and what we just did, tips. So to find the selling price, the first thing we need to do is, I'm gonna find my pen here. Hold on one second. Oh, there we go. The first thing we need to do is take the wholesale cost, and we're going to multiply that by the markup. But again, we don't multiply by 125. We take 125% and change it to a decimal first. So this will be 1.25. Wherever that percent sign is, you move it 2 places left, and that's where your decimal point goes. So this is more than 100%, so our decimal is greater than 1. And so if we are going to mark up the cost of this shirt, the store buys it for $17. They are going to mark it up $21.25. And so the selling price, remember the selling price is going to be the wholesale cost plus the markup. So the wholesale cost was $17, the markup was $21.25. So the total cost of this shirt that you would pay as the customer would be $38.25. So the store buys it for $17, they mark it up $21 and try to sell it for $38, which means they're making, $21 per shirt. Again, it's a little less than that because they have, bills and things like that to pay, but that's the markup for the shirt. Another example, the wholesale cost of a set of speakers is $62.25. The markup is 60%. What is the selling price of the speakers? So again, we are going to take that wholesale cost and multiply it by the markup percentage. But again, not 60.6. We have to take this percentage and move it, change it to a decimal. Now here there's already a decimal point, so we're going to take this current decimal and move it 2 places to the left. So 0.606 is what we are going to multiply by here. And if we do that, we get 37.7235. Well, again, since we're talking about money, with money, we generally want to round to the nearest hundredths place. So look at the number right after that. If it is less than 5, then we can just cut those off. And the markup is $37.72. So now I'm going to add the amount of the markup to the wholesale price, and we get 7,999. So the selling price of the speakers is going to be $99.97. So now again, pause the video and you guys try this one. Be careful with this one because the percent is 85.5%. So think about that. What would 85.5% be as a decimal first? And then change it to a decimal out of the percentage to do your markup. And you should get a final answer of $59.36. So what I want you to do next to this problem, just to see that you are still watching, I want you to put a big check mark next to this check problem and the correct answer. And that will be the end of this video.